welcome back to Nilly's Bonsai. Today I just want to show you around the garden I look after. Pretty special to me, this place. I grew up seeing this place grow up as well. Really quite a special thing. We'll show you around and have a little kind of a tour of it. There's quite a bit. Quite a challenging job, this one, but pretty rewarding for how it looks, you know. And this is the kind of time I wanted to show you around because there's not much going on at the moment. You'll see it kind of transform over the summer as everything wakes up. So let's have a little nosy around. Now, I don't want to say too much as we kind of look around. I just want to give you a little tour and let you kind of enjoy it on this nice sunny morning. If there's anything really kind of key, we'll kind of mention it. Probably spot those huge juniper cloud trees there. These are giant bonsais. Like I say, they probably don't even look that big in the pictures, but when you're working on them, they really are something. Nice Atlantic blue cedar at the back there as well. See this Deodora cedar in front of us here, probably only 35 years old, and this year I spotted it has the first kind of couple of cones on it, so probably kind of waiting for them to drop, and maybe we'll see if they do anything. There's an Ace Agricium there, paperbark maple. Got probably 3 nice size ones of these on this site. There was a larger one we actually dug out and moved to the owner's new garden last year. Probably about 3 or 4 times the size of this one as well, and it transplanted absolutely fine. This one, you see that lovely bark? I'll show you another one as we walk round as well. And this kind of view here over the ponds, you kind of take this in, and this bed at the base here, this kind of little moaty area around the island. See how flat and kind of dull and, you know, sort of dead it looks at the moment. We'll come back to this in a month or two, and you kind of see the transformation. One thing probably worth noting on these marginal beds here, although they look quite dull and barren, like I said, is this yellow flower down here, something unusual. You don't see this in every garden. And that's a skunk cabbage, that. I don't actually know the Latin name of it, but I'll put it in an annotation. Yeah, we've got these kind of dotted round all the ponds here. They sort of self-seed and pop up where they want. A couple of trees kind of notable here as well, before they wake up in spring. While there's a swamp cypress, and sort of a deciduous conifer. Again, quite a few of these here. See there, not only just starting to bud now. You can kind of see if I can pull one down. And you see they're just starting to wake up. And the buds are forming there now. See them little yellow. I'm quite keen on these trees, and there's one out the way that we're going to try and air layer in the year. And the other tree I like here is this golden elm. Just starting again to bud out. And this is really quite spectacular when they come out. I've got a couple in my greenhouse that are just in, you know, broken bud and out in the first kind of leaf stage now. This garden feature was kind of quite special to me when I was younger. You know, as a child, kind of working here with my dad. This would obviously be of interest as a kid. Kind of grown up a lot now, and you know, really matured in. A couple of nice aces there at the front. We'll just have a look at them. got a moat all the way round as well. This is just full of lilies in the summer. Yeah, really quite a spectacular garden feature. These aces at the front of the castle here as well. Every year I kind of get a number of seedlings from the bottom here. I did collect a seed one year and quite a few grew as well. So they got to the size now where they're kind of throwing out little seedlings every year. See these aces here as well, they really do thrive just under the shade of this oak and these other surrounding trees. But like I say, in the summer this is quite shaded here and they absolutely love it. So you see just there, and just here. I don't know if we can get the camera there, you can probably just about see that. There's another one in there, and we won't be able to stretch it without making too much noise walking through this, but I can see a couple more in there. So again, this tree's produced a few more seedlings this year. There's another one there as well. So providing no one walks on them in the meantime, we'll have some more little aces there to pop up. There is one more large ace I've made from hiding around the side of this castle as well, where I'm going to attempt some air layers this year. So we'll see if we can find some interesting branches to take off there. The plus side of this garden now, being kind of coming into a mature age and being full of trees, is there's just plentiful seedlings everywhere. I'll just show you here as well on this little patch. We've got a Norway maple there. You know, I like these for bonsai. Not everyone does, but I see they've got good potential. I've got one I've been working on for a few years. Then down here again, there's a little Irish yew there, or a golden Irish yew. Looks like a cotoneaster there maybe. We've got a lot of them here. It's just nice to see that these things pop up everywhere. Really nice view there. A weeping willow at the back, just coming out into leaf. A few more cedars hiding in there as well. We've got a few options here, but we'll head off round this way. A couple of nice things to show you. Like I say, there's quite a few ponds here, and they're all kind of bordered with nice marginal plants. These are yellow flag irises, these will be out soon. They've put on quite a nice show again. Another cool bit of the garden, this wisteria walk. For the last couple of years we've been restoring it a little bit. It kind of found its way up into the trees around and sort of dismissed even being on this kind of tunnel, as it were. So we've been pulling it out, kind of training it back around the tunnel. It's bordered with these laburnums as well, and it really is a nice kind of area when you get the laburnums first, kind of this big avenue of yellow, and then the wisteria takes over. So it's something we'll come back to in summer when it looks a bit more, but I just want to kind of show you the bare basics of this garden as it is. This little area we call the Three Bridges. Really quite fond of this. There is a little pond underneath, but with all the trees around it kind of gets dried out, so when we have some really wet weather we have some water in there. Another really nice acer. Again, this one throws me no end of seedlings from underneath. I need to remember this year to collect the seeds off it again. Unless you get too busy and forget these things. So yeah, that's starting to come out and look really smart. Some nice black bamboos this side. Well, various bamboos, but obviously the black bamboo there is quite noticeable. This little area down here is kind of just mixed herbaceous plants. There's a lot of heucheras. We have hostas right down the edge. Another one of those large skunk cabbages. Various things, some ornamental grasses over there as well. But yeah, a really nice area in summer, especially when the leaves come back on these trees around it, and it kind of gives it a nice dapple shade. That area down there, that's what we call Cannon Run. Not too much down there really. There's a lot of them swamp cypresses or bull cypress. We'll show you them in summer. It's quite a little bit too shady now because of the amount of trees, but we've got some kind of fruit bushes in there, gooseberries, rhubarb, things like that, just kind of utilising the space we've got. Probably one of the coolest features I'm going to show you now. When I was a kid and the owner of this garden was still building it, this was basically a mud mound, and I used to fly my little aeroplanes off of it, so quite a transformation now, even in my lifetime so far. So we'll show you this part. Take note of this tree here. This makes an appearance later on. Another fantastic acer grisseum there as well. Another paperbark maple. And if you kind of look at those piles of debris on the far bank there, there's 3 big groups of gunners there. Really spectacular in the summer. These have got to quite a mature size now. And you can just see the flowers just starting to appear now as well. So I'll take you in for a closer look at them when they start waking up properly and I uncover them. One little area here, you can get a bit of perspective on the garden. So we call this just a crow's nest. Just on this one little mound, like I was saying to you from the other side there before we went under the grotto area, this was just basically a soil mound when I was younger, 20, 25 years ago. You see these cedar over at the back there, and this black pine, and these hornbeams he's put in. They've been here a lifetime already, didn't they? I really am fond of this planting as well. When you step back from other areas in the garden and kind of look at it, it really does work well, the pines and the cedars together on it. Got some viper bark, well, viper snakeskin maples there. I think these are Acer Davidii, this variety, just going by the leaf. So look at that bark. I've tried air layering a few of these in another little part of this garden as well. They callus up quite well, but they've been a bit slow putting roots out, so I'll have another go this year. Up here you get a nice kind of view overlooking the pond area and a fair bit of the garden. And again, we want to kind of show you this now, because come summer this is a whole different picture. Couple of trees to look at here. Obviously, this, like I pointed out to you at the bottom there from the grotto, the waterfall area. This is the top of that horse chestnut conker tree. So it's like looking like a group up here or a clump, but there's a singular trunk down there underneath. So that's quite cool. This cedar as well, that I've mentioned a few times. Really nice base on it that's growing on the side of this mound. You know, again, like this is like a giant bonsai planting to me, this mound here. And another snakeskin maple. These aren't uncommon in this garden. We've got quite a few of them. We'll just walk around the last couple of bits now. Another notable kind of tree here. We've got this holm oak, evergreen oak. Every year I cut, I don't know, probably 6 to 8 foot out the top of this thing, just to keep the view over the marquee area. So it's kind of quite an aggressive grower when it gets going, but we've kind of kept this one squat and nipped back, and it's a nice little tree there really. I'm really keen on the shape of that one. It's a nice example. And there's 2 nice yew trees as well on the entrance to there. Some really great structure in this garden. More structural plants. We've got this Irish yew, or it's golden yew. Really decent size again. We probably cut, best part of a foot and a bit off this most years, just trying to keep it looking cut back, but not, we want to keep it tame, but not cut back with a hedge cutter. I like this kind of fluffy appearance of it. Maybe I'll video doing that one for you, and we'll do a time lapse quick. All these you can kind of keep nipped back as well in shape, just to kind of provide little structures. As you can see here, there's loads of kind of columns, balls. There's a spiral in there as well. I'll tell you about that in a minute. stunning feature this makes. Geoff, the guy who owns this, built this in 2009. You can see, it's kind of the entrance to the main lawn area. Obviously this garden's purposed as a wedding venue nowadays. Obviously it has to have a purpose to maintain and look after something so big. We'll just have a little look into that area there. Got two lovely fig trees either side. We're just trying to, one's a lot more vigorous growing than the other, so we're always trying to keep that one in check to the other one. But they're looking quite good, and again in summer we'll show you this kind of picture. I really am keen on these little ponds either side of these stone arches. These really, in the summer again, take note of how this looks now and kind of how barren, flat, boring. This is a whole different thing in summer. Really is a transformation, and it's all there waiting to come up. At the moment we just got these marsh buttercups there on the edge. The water level's been up really high this winter, and it's kind of really done them a favour. So they're putting on a good show. You can see they kind of spread round. Either side of these ponds, these are both kind of mixed herbaceous beds, and we just put a little bit of bedding plants in the front just for a bit more colour. I like these kind of main beds on the lawn here. They're just structural with shrubs, shapes. Got some nice trees in there. See, all kept in check and just for structure. But it really does look with the grass cut and that. It looks really nice. One more bit we'll show you over here. This is just the entrance to the toilets, believe it or not, but it gets quite a nice showy entrance. Again, all herbaceous beds down the side here. We've got a few nice feature plants in there just to kind of set it off and give something in the winter. Lovely blue spruce at the back there. Well, there's actually two in there, but one's kind of become dominant now. And this topiary twisty tree here. This I got this when I was 16 years old. It had grown into kind of a cone when I worked at a garden centre, and I got it for a really good price. I think I paid about £14 for that, you wouldn't believe it or not. And it was too big for me, so I gave it to Geoff, and he kind of put it in the garden, and there it is. Something happened last year where maybe the sun was too intense for that and burnt away a bit of one side, but we'll try and repair that this year. But as long as you keep these things in check, you can see that's probably. You see them in the new builds, in the front gardens of these new build properties, and they get neglected within a year or two, and they look nothing like that. But that's probably about, I don't know, 15 years in our possession, and you can still see it's maintained its shape. We've added to it. It's got bigger. Yeah, it looks good. This bit here is kind of a little bit of a kind of woodland walk. A lot of kind of wildflower plants. Hellebores, euphorbias, and some nice kind of fancy ornamental hollies in there. Nice monkey puzzle hiding at the back. We'll go through this another day when it's kind of breaking out a bit, but you can kind of see a little glimpse of it there. There's two elms here as well I'm yet to ID. I keep forgetting every year, but they look very similar to a Chinese elm. This is a smaller one out of the two. There's a much larger one over there. But yeah, I'm just not sure. I'm going to have a look into that and find out exactly what it is. We can take some air layers from this for sure. I like the kind of fine branch in there as well. So now we're on to the kind of the main kind of bordered areas of the garden. This is kind of always a little bit of a forgotten little bit here. But again, there's a really nice big golden elm just there. So you see it's a good size. Japanese maple hiding behind there as well. Loads of hellebores, some brunella in there, there's some jack frost, and the normal kind of green version. So they're like your kind of perennial forget-me-nots, if you like, same flower, but just less evasive and really nice leaf. There's some epimediums in there as well. So some really nice plants in that little tiny area there. We'll have a quick look round this part, and then I'll take you on to what I consider the main event of this garden. Another nice Japanese maple. See how kind of progressed these are, even when I'm cold weather, last couple of cold nights or week we've had almost. No damage to the leaves though, and they're looking healthy. Never really find any seedling ones over here, but maybe because it's intensively gardened a little bit more, they do appear maybe and they get kind of knocked back, but I always keep an eye out. More Brunella there, out in flower. This part here, not really much notable throughout the summer, but these alliums, obviously one big show that does happen here. Probably give it, by the end of the month, these will be out. You can see the flower buds starting to appear now. They're sort of popping up. Yeah, that's an absolute sea of alliums there. Really nice. We'll make sure we get you a little clip of that when it's out. Again, this garden's kind of based on being natural and fun. We let a lot of things kind of naturalise, take over, and then just clear around other things and let them have a chance as well. And I just kind of move things around. You couldn't obviously replant something like this all the time. Really nice plant here. We'll show you a bigger one of these as well. That's an akebia, something you don't see too often. Really nice flower there. Really quite fond on that plant. A bit like a Clematis montana, how kind of vigorous it grows, but if you keep it in check and train it, really nice plant. There is a white flower version as well that you don't see very often. Some nice structural plants in there. A nice pine hiding behind. I'm not too sure what these are. I keep meaning to find out as well. There's a nice pine hiding behind there. Nice shape to it. Nice variegated holly as well. And hiding behind all of this is a huge Japanese maple. So maybe this year we'll look at pruning this holly back a little bit and try and show off a bit more of that maple. And if not, we'll take some big air layers off of it. Last kind of thing in this corner, this nice rose kind of arbour walkway here. These roses are probably as old as me again. You can see the trunks on some of them there, but this is really just an absolute show of flowers here. Give it another month or so. So again, something we'll revisit. Just on the drive here as well, another kind of favourite of mine. We've got this tree peony. This one's a yellow one. You can see all these balls here. There's loads of peonies in this garden as well. That's another thing we'll show you when they come out, because there is a lot here. But this tree peony, like I say, kind of special. You don't see them everywhere again. And a bright yellow flower. And I've grown some seeds off this one that have took 2 years to come up. So we'll hopefully see that they come yellow or whatever colour they are. It'll be a bit of a mystery. Although this garden is full of really cool features, really special features. The guy Geoff and Davina who created it, it really is phenomenal what they've done. But for me, with the gardening side of it, these are kind of a showstopper. These are yew tree cloud trees. Again, started from nursery stock, probably that big. He grew them on and started shaping them. And I think these must be, well, I've clipped them up on and off for the last 15 years. And then, I don't say they probably had another 10 years before that, so they're probably 25, 30 years old easily. And if you have a look at these, they really are starting to come into their prime now. Every year they get better and better. We clip these back in sort of August, late August, September, and they normally sort of hold right through then. I guess it'd be nice to maybe clip them back twice if you needed them that perfect all year round, but I find clipping them back in late August, early September sort of just seems to be a good recipe for these. It's kept them in good condition and they do sort of stay frozen in that position for quite a while at least. We've had a lot of bad weather this year and it's kind of blown the topiary around a lot, so there'll be a little bit of adjustment this year. Things have come out of place and let's say there's little gaps. I know the pigeons like to go in our big juniper topiary and it does create some bald spots which are a bit frustrating. Another one that's really notable as well, just through this gap here. How's that for a cloud tree? Probably one of my favourite ones, that. Again, a juniper of some description, but just an absolute phenomenal piece of art, really. And again, the scale of them in the camera probably doesn't quite, show off how big these are. Like I say, when you're working in them and you're actually in amongst it, quite big things. You see these were grown in some wooden barrels that are literally falling apart, but they do seem to have a kind of nibiri in there. You see how thick that one's got down there, and it does kind of taper to the top. Just being kept in a cloud form to kind of create a taper in the tree. So these weren't designed as such, you just made them as you went. Phenomenal. This shrub's really nice. This is called an exocordia, or the bride, with the white flower there. We've got a couple of these in the garden. Got to a really nice size now. The blue one in the last couple of years has really filled out. It was quite thin. 4 years ago, when I kind of took over the garden full time, like I say, I've grown up in this garden and always done bits here, but for 4 years now I've kind of managed the whole thing. And the blue one was quite thin and really has filled out in the last few years. This one next to it, this green one, just gets better and better every year. The weather this year, like I say, has given them a little bit of a beating. They'd normally look a bit kind of cleaner and tighter than that. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed our little tour around. We've kind of showed you, the best bits for now. Like I say, I wanted to show you it in spring, so you didn't see it all just up and kind of in full bloom. You can see the bare foundations of what it is. But like I say, I only look after this garden. I'm not the creator of it. I absolutely take my hat off to Geoff and Dean, who just put this together. To have the foresight to create something like this, bit by bit, and that's kind of what he did. And I've seen that from a child growing up working here with my dad, and to now, what you see here. And after 4 years of kind of combing through it and really looking after it, it's kind of showing in the reward. Yeah, like I say, really hope you enjoyed it, and join us again soon.